Welcome to Camnet TV Media News. I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. The headlines. PF VEEP accuses President HH of inciting political violence. CSO'S urge government to adopt PF's economic recovery plan. Join me with the media news in detail after this commercial.
Would you like to win some cool cash? Say no more. Stand a chance to win your share of 1 million kwacha. Simply make a transaction from your Zamtel mobile money account and you could be one of weekly winners of up to 10,000 kwacha. Be empowered with Zamtel mobile money. Dial *344# to activate your account. This promotion runs from 28th July to 31st October 2021. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
And now the media news in detail. Residents of Kalingalinga compound have called for quick action from the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company to fix broken sewer pipe in the area in the wake of diarrhea diseases outbreak in Lusaka districts. The residents have expressed fear for their lives, stating that such spillages also put them at risk of diseases such as cholera, especially with the onset of the rain season. The Ministry of Health Wednesday announced an outbreak of diarrhea diseases in Lusaka district, which the residents say could be attributed to many reasons, among them sewer spillages around the district.
For a long time now, poor sanitation has remained a point of concern in many parts of Lusaka district, especially in peri-urban areas, locally known as shanty compounds. It is not uncommon to see sewer leakages like this one flowing onto the streets unattended to for weeks. Lusaka shanty compounds also often record the first outbreak of waterborne diseases such as cholera due to unsanitary conditions. The problem of broken sewer pipes, which have been left out in the open without being attended to, is a common sight in the country's capital, hence endangering the lives of citizens. Residents of Lusaka's Kalingalinga compound are the latest complainants, stating that effluence from a broken sewer pipe has been flowing to the streets, hence acting as a health hazard.
Vimanzi vichoka every day. Tina wana wangono wangangena diarrhea wangayambera kuyamba rain season. So titenda ulapo watuoneko. Bama alungisa maya wakalungisa 2 days futi changambika. Stizo alungisa vazoona usalungisa vazoona. Bana amaswelela mu point ogula tikawatuma tikaguleni vakuja obolo swelera pamanzi pamne hapo.
So yeso atemwino foi de bending hapa so. Yenunga sana mukati bakasitoma nga bayisa bayanda palisuwa mwayanda kuna Lusaka water overkanji so twanako kushita complain paliso tupero mbako kuti ati wesi watirungishe kwechintu wachike bambeko kushita kofi.
The Ministry of Health, in a circular dated Wednesday, 13th October 2021, announced that it is investigating an outbreak of diarrhea diseases in Lusaka district, which are suspected to be cases of typhoid or dysentery. The affected residents state that such outbreaks could be arising from many sources, among them sewer spillages, which have been left unattended to, and have called for quick action. Meanwhile, Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company Public Relations Officer Mr. Nshamba Muzungu, while calling on citizens to exercise responsibility for sewer systems, states that certain areas have been earmarked for an overhaul of existing sewer systems.
It's a gradual process. So right now there are areas which were selected under the Lusaka Sanitation Program, which we are working on. When it comes to other areas, the problem is not so much to do with the replacement of the network, but it has to do with behavior. And then, in that situation, what is important is that those people should desist from dumping solid waste in the network.
The residents have called for the problem to be addressed before the onset of the rain season, which is barely a month away. Zipora Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Government has reiterated its commitment to working with communities and civil servants who have chosen to realign themselves with the new government's agenda. Speaking when he paid a courtesy call on Petalk and Cinder acting district commissioners, Minister of Water Development and Sanitation Mike Mposha has stated that civil servants must change their mindset towards a new work culture if effective service delivery in the if effective service delivery in the water sector is to be attained. The minister has since called on all stakeholders to cooperate regardless of one's political affiliation. Meanwhile, Cinder Acting District Commissioner Dr. Adrian Tembo has disclosed that the number of challenges faced by the district, which includes dilapidated infrastructure and the high cost of purchasing and servicing water-related machinery.
Pedeketisi call on Petaoke and Cinder Acting District Commissioners. Thursday, October 14, 2021, Minister of Water Development and Sanitation, Mike Imposha, has advised civil servants to develop a new mindset towards a new work culture if effective service delivery in the water sector is to be attained.
Let's work together. We are a new government, but we are alive to the fact that service delivery is anchored on you as civil servants. So we need to change the work culture. This government is mindful that as we provide development to our people, we must bear in mind that we want quality service. We want quality service, but we want a cost-reflective kind of service. We don't want a product or a project which can be sourced at 50,000 kwacha being sourced 4 times the original price. So we must be alive to the fact that we must procure at the right price.
Mr. Mposha says government is ready to work with communities and civil servants who have chosen to realign themselves with the new administration.
Exactly, sir. But delivery also should be timely. Exactly, sir. You know, time is of great essence. We have 5 years to deliver and show the people of Zambia what we promised to them. And this means that as we implement our projects, we must be very mindful of time. Exactly, sir. So we are ready to work with all the Zambians as long as those Zambians are ready to realign themselves to a new work culture of seriousness.
He has since assured that government will work towards ensuring Zambians have access to water and proper sanitation. Meanwhile, Cinder Acting District Commissioner Dr. Adrian Tembo has told the minister some of the challenges faced by the district.
So many challenges, and among those is the issue of water. Yes, then of course, apart from that, even the issues of teen pregnancies, early marriages, ghetto heading, of course, too numerous to mention, sir. But water.
Alex Shimba, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The civil society organization CSO Debt Alliance has urged the United Party for National Development Administration to adopt the contents presented in the Economic Recovery Plan by the former Patriotic Front government. Speaking at a media briefing held in Lusaka Wednesday, Jesuit Center for Theological Reflections (JCTR) Executive Director Father Alex Mayebe says the CSO Debt Alliance has analyzed the recovery plan and have established that it is in line with the vision of the new government, which calls for its adoption. And the non-governmental gender organization Coordinating Council NGOCC Executive Director Ngwase Mwale says government needs to develop a workable implementation plan that will facilitate the attainment of debt sustainability and restore economic growth.
In December of 2020, former Zambia's President Edgar Lungu launched the Economic Recovery Program ERP 2020 to 2023, which had the objectives to restore macroeconomic stability, attain fiscal and debt sustainability, restore growth and diversify the economy, dismantle domestic arrears and avoid accumulation of new arrears, as well as safeguard social protective programs. Since the launch of the ERP, the target to raise international reserves to over 3 months of import cover by 2023 had been met within the first year, with the IMF special drawing rights bolstering reserves to 5.4 months of import cover, as well as $2.9 billion United States dollars in coffers by August of 2021. However, the Zambian economy remains far from attaining the outstanding target stipulated in the program, whilst inhabiting a huge debt burden that had been growing even before the COVID-19 pandemic. It is for this reason that some CSO'S Debt Alliance in Lusaka are now calling on the new government to consider adopting the ERP, which was launched by the PF administration, saying it is in the same line with the vision of the new government in restoring the country's economy.
So our point is that even as a new government comes into office now, rather than throwing away the water with the baby, there is already an instrument that was put together, and we want to believe that there was a lot of effort and a lot of resources that went into producing the economic restructuring program. And when you look at really the economic restructuring program, analyzing it, I mean, there are quite a number of positives in there, which are actually in sync with the aspirations of the new government.
And JCTR Executive Director Father Alex Muyeba says the new government, once it adopts the ERP, should develop a workable implementation plan that will facilitate attaining of debt sustainability and restore economic growth.
There are always records there that are quite astounding to do with mismanagement, misappropriation. What's the other category? Misapplication. Yeah, so of resources. And these are issues, I mean, they are critical issues which must be addressed.
And Center for Trade Policy and Development CTPD Senior Researcher Public Finance Dr. Gabriel Pollen says adopting the same ERP will save government resources.
So the conversation, I think, also should move toward utilization of debt resources, much away from acquisition of debt, because as we've already noted from the new government, more debt is going to be contracted. We still have a problem of domestic resource mobilization. So our conversation should be around governance issues concerned with utilization of debt.
Others, such as the Consumer Trust Society and Center for Young Leadership in Africa, have called for a more consultative approach by the government to managing the debt situation and fostering economic recovery.
Necessarily going to be in the negative and all that. The government it sounds like a listening government, and I think that the president has made it his mission to be meeting different people from different sectors, different stakeholders, and we are one of the stakeholders, and we are closer to the grassroots. So we don't see how the president can deny us an audience.
And therefore we are calling on the government, through the Minister of Finance, to ensure that there is full disclosure of this debt. And from who and how much, and that should include the Chinese debt. We need to know how much debt we as young people of this country are owing to the people of China.
Rebuilding the Zambian economy will require a concerted effort from all stakeholders. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Opposition Patriotic Front Vice President Given Lubinda has advised President Hakainde Hichilema to retract a statement he made during his radio interview on Wednesday. According to Mr. Lubinda, President Hichilema is inciting the youths to be vengeful towards the PF members. He alleges that President Hichilema is calling for revenge to the alleged ill treatment of UPND members when in opposition by the main ruling PF, adding that the former ruling party expects a retraction from the president. Mr. Lubinda said this at a media briefing Thursday morning.
With the outcome of the August 12, 2021 general elections, one would think political intolerance would come to an end among political opponents, especially between the United Party for National Development and the Patriotic Front. Despite the UPND being the governing party for at least 2 months now, political witch hunt has continued to be witnessed among its lower-ranking members in the streets. The country has witnessed a number of violent incidences, with the recent being at the court grounds in Lusaka between the political party members and the other earlier this week, where PF member Kebbi Mbewe's business entity was shut down in Southern Province by the UPND cadres for not displaying the president's portrait. All these events have saddened the PF Vice President, Given Lubinda, who feels President Hakainde Hichilema is supporting the youths to be violent, citing a statement he issued when he appeared on a radio program Wednesday.
The last 10 years, citizens were abused in many ways, violent ways. And our citizens knew some of the people who were harassing them by name, by location, in terms of where they live. It's only sometimes, depending on who you are and how you look at things, to say, this one took away my market store, so I'm going to do the same now. this one bit me, I'm going to do the same. I sympathize with those feelings. We are determined to end this. I think that's the starting point. Clarity in your mind that this is wrong. If it hurt me, and now I want to hurt someone else, then you are lying that it hurt you.
Whether Mr. Lubinda understood President Hichilema's words or not, a comment from him could not be ignored.
Notion that people should go out and seek revenge for whatever reason. It is totally unacceptable for a Republican president to reduce himself to being a partisan president. We find the remarks of President Hakainde when he said the attacks on PF are expected human nature. That those who were attacked by PF should act in what he calls the natural manner.
Meanwhile, Mr. Lubinda has also commented on the shifting of institutions like the Anti-Corruption Commission to State House, which he alleges is wrong according to the Republican Constitution.
I would like to remind President Hakainde that the Anti-Corruption Commission, the Drug Enforcement Commission, and the Financial Intelligence Center are established by the supreme law of the land. They are established by the Constitution at Article 235. They are not commissions established under the Inquiries Act, Cap 41, Section 2, which empowers him to establish any kind of commission. There is a big distinction between commissions that he can establish using the Inquiries Act Cap 41 and those commissions that are established by the Constitution. Commissions that are established by the Constitution are constitutional commissions.
Sharon Kalimbola, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Well, that news item brings us to the end of Camnet TV Media News, but before we go, here are the headlines once again. PF VEEP accuses President HH of inciting political violence. CSO'S urge government to adopt PF's economic recovery plan. Thank you for joining me. I am Precious Mzeya Sakaleji. Remember to always wear your mask, avoid crowded places, wash your hands for at least 20 seconds, or use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Stay safe. Good afternoon.